Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon.
So, today would be the last theory class, but nevertheless, there will be a few doubt clearing classes as well. So, I'll be meeting you even for the next few maybe weeks. So, today's class will be based on the last part, which is on anxiety management, how to understand what anxiety looks like on drawings, and then there will be one or two techniques which I'll be sharing with you, with the basic tools on which you can do apply it on whoever you are interacting with. Okay, so we'll first try to look into what anxiety is and what is the mechanism behind anxiety. If you understand that, then you'll be able to cater these art-based tools in order to suit the person whom you're interacting with, or even for yourself. Uh, Followed by the assignments, what you need to submit and how you're going to submit. I'm just going to talk about it briefly. And there will be a symposium in June, mid-June. That means a presentation that is voluntary, that is not mandatory. Anyone who is interested to present what they're working on or how they have worked on this entire course, that would be a good way of delivering the same. There will be other audiences also. I'm planning to make it into an interactive session online. So whoever wants to give in, I'll send out a form. You can fill it up and submit. So I'll talk briefly about that. So let's start off with today's presentation. Now, before I start off, are you carrying your anger monsters or whatever you have made out of clay? Is anyone carrying with them? Is anyone carrying with them the clay monster? Or the last class which we had discussed, you need to, sculpt your anger. So, anyone here? Yes, if you would like to share, anyone who would like to share the same? Anyone? No one? Or maybe if you have worked on it, you can share it in the group. So, any reflections before we start off with anxiety? Yes, anyone who would be willing to talk about it? Yes, please. Yes, you can unmute and talk about it. No issues. 10 minutes.
Okay, so I'll share. Am I audible?
Yes, yes. Please do.
So, I wanted to make a red ball, but since I didn't have the color, so I chose mixing purple and blue, right? So, while making the ball, the image that I had in my mind was a ball with a clay-like structure that's soft, but it has spikes. And it's weird when I made spikes on my ball, I just didn't like it, and it felt that it's very um not, I can't find the exact word, but it just felt it's not right, in terms of what I'm trying to express. So I
Mhm.
kind of molded the spikes a bit and turned them into a round thing. So I kind of realized that's how my anger is also. So it doesn't affect a lot of people, but when I am angry, I become very closed, and I kind of distant myself from people, but just don't have a breakout, or I don't shout. So could be that's the reason why I kind of molded those spikes. And I just felt that I wanted something which is moldable and easy to just play around and little soft, because I think for me to let go of that anger, it's easier. Like when I am with myself, I talk it out, I feel a little okay, and I kind of pacify that emotion by myself. But yeah, I am little difficult to talk out to when I'm angry.
Mhm.
So that's why I think the whole spike thing didn't feel convincing, and I was trying to mold. And after that, I was quite satisfied with what came up. Not sure whether mixing of colors have any significance to it, but just felt like picking up purple and blue and mixing it around.
Okay, can anyone tell me if we kind of discuss that we'll not go into color meanings, but even since you're learning this process, it would be a good practice to, maybe at the end, towards the end, kind of interpret what can be the driving factors. So she picked up red first, and then she kind of moved on to purple or blue. So what could it mean? The metaphorical meaning you could explain yourself, but then what about the color meanings? Anyone who would like to give it a try? Anyone? Who would just try and let's see how it goes. Yes, no one.
Usually it is said that red is out of passion and anger and maybe love also. But here, as we are talking about anger, then it's passionate anger also, as we call love also. So it's and blue is usually significance of calmness. So when you are trying to have some peace and calm, and in the Zen state, you are trying to go there. So it seems like because red is a lot and then blue is a patch of in certain areas. So it seems like we are trying to be calm and have the sense of peace, but it's very difficult because we have a lot of things to get angry.
Mhm. Okay, wonderful. So just try to remember this part, then it will be easier for you to understand what color patterns mean. The more you go towards red, like red, orange, those are more of alarm colors, which needs immediate attention. There's a lot of action going on and all. Green being in the middle, it kind of balances both, too much of action and too much of calmness. And if you go towards more of blue, violet, it's more towards your thinking patterns, your maybe imagination, communication, calmness. So these are two domains into which you're looking into. So the more towards bluish green, blue, purple, magenta, orange, purple, blues, and all those violets, these would reflect a lot of communication, calmness, a lot of imagination, spiritualism. All these parts are towards the blue spectrum. The red spectrum would include your yellow, orange, red, maroon. All these things would more relate to taking actions. It's more action based, it's more spontaneous, it's more energy. So just remembering this would help you to kind of demarcate as to what is going on in the person's mind, or right now what's up with the mood. For you, if you're going shifting from red to a purple, how would you kind of identify this? What is your takeaway from this? What could be the driving force of change if you feel that yes, I need to change my anger pattern, it is causing me harm, it is causing others harm? What could be the driving force here?
Um, like as you share and I think about it, I feel that it kind of, of course, the colors availability was another thing, but why purple and blue? I believe that yes, there has been a shift because something happened in my life because of which I was kind of passive aggressive because being aggressive in terms of verbally or behaviorally is never been a thing. So I was, and which was kind of affecting my own well-being and sanity. And to overcome that, I adapted a lot of things, which was journaling and slightly, I would say, on the spiritual part because I've been doing certain things before I sleep, gratitude practices. And it's not that the entire thing has changed, but it has kind of helped me to move on with that emotion that was kind of deep seated and I was holding on to. And I could let go of it a bit. Now, I think aggression is not there, but I would say it is more replaced with other emotions of probably um, not again sure, but slight disappointment and being disheartened, but yet acceptance towards what has happened.
Okay. Okay, so that kind of sums up the color meaning as well. That you're trying to communicate, you're trying to put down in words, and then trying to brainstorm how you can manage it.
Yeah,
Oh,
makes sense.
okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Yes, Safak. Yes, would you like to talk about it?
Hi. So this
Hi.
is what I've made. It is made with clay. It was supposed to be, it looks soft, but it's now hard.
Mhm,
And the colors that I chose were brown, fluorescent pink, and orange. So you can see a little, orange and fluorescent pink here and there.
mhm,
It doesn't have spikes because for me, I think it is more of like deep cuts. Some cuts are more deeper, whereas some are not very deep. So this is how I feel my anger looks like.
mhm,
Maybe because I'm kind of like, there were so many things on my head and I couldn't find the answer. So it was more of frustration,
mhm,
and maybe I feel that people would not understand why I'm feeling frustrated, and that's why instead of talking it out, I self-inflicting anger kind of a thing. I feel it's not that I hurt myself in any way, but yeah, it just takes a toll on my mental health more. This is what I feel. I mean, and I'm not sharing it. It's not that I'm physically
mhm,
hurting myself, but it's
mhm,
hurting me mentally.
mhm. Right,
So
right.
yeah, this is what it looks like to
So it represented that you came up with these meanings, metaphors, in fact. And how would you think you can solve if it is creating certain, hindrances in your normal way of living?
I think there's very uncertainty going on around me right now in the house, so that is why I think at this moment, present moment, it's like this. Maybe,
Mhm,
if things were different, it would be different. But
mhm,
I think at the present moment, when I'm an expat, living in another country, my husband recently lost his job, so we're not very sure where we're going to move. And, we have to wait for the kids to finish the school year. So I think there's so much happening and we've not heard from the new place yet. So yeah, I think so. Even if communicating is not a real solution for me right now, because who do I communicate it to? With my husband, he'll say, "Acha, wait karo." So this is what I feel right now.
right, right. I understand. Hope your problems smoothen out. But
Thank you.
for a state of relief, I might just suggest, if you may allow, that this ball which you have made, which has deep grooves and all, if you can change into a more pleasant, output. I think it has hardened, but similar thing, if you can just mold it out into something new, more
Okay.
positive connotation or a more positive object, and see how it shapes up. Don't think much. Similar ball, if you can just shape it out into something different, which would be, which you deliberately make it a positive symbol for yourself, and try see how messages are coming up, because our
Okay.
subconscious mind has a lot of power to give us certain directions.
It's
So
like
that,
manifesting something positive and then reshaping it. Yeah.
yes, not very consciously, but see how it
Mhm.
reshapes into a, you have this concept of, I would like to have this object as a very positive symbol of holding on to and problem solving. So try to shape it into something which, is more positive to you, and see what all metaphorical meanings are coming up out of it, which may guide you into problem solving or feeling much more better than what you're feeling right now.
All right. All right. I'll try. I'll
Try.
definitely try that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. For others too, when you are making this ball of anger or you're symbolizing this ball, similarly, if it's causing you a lot of trouble, see, anger is very normal unless and until it's causing us some major issues or it is recurrent. We should not be bothering about it much. But if it is too much, or if it's harming us or others around us, then we need to rethink or reshape it. So when you're reshaping it, try to figure out something, some kind of positive symbol which you want to mold that into, and see how you're feeling about it. What all symbols are coming up? What does it mean to you? All these brainstorming questions might give you some, lead into problem solving your emotion, the negative emotion which you're holding on to. Yes, Agarika, you want to say something?
Yeah. When I started working with the clay, I don't feel like putting the pieces. I just tore it into different pieces,
Mhm.
and I don't feel like putting it together.
Okay.
I don't feel like putting any color. It was white in color only.
Mhm.
And then I pushed myself, and I thought I should bring it together. And while doing that process, I tried to make it very smooth from like outer surface,
Mhm.
but I don't feel like adding any color to it. It was white only.
Okay.
When I started, it was like very disturbing for me. I felt I cannot do it. I should not do it. But then later on, when I was making it smooth with my fingers,
Mhm.
I felt little good. So then I thought, so I know myself that the same thing, that when I get angry, I don't talk to anyone. I feel like be alone. But I never get angry like outburst,
Mhm.
like throwing. I feel like throwing things, shouting, but I don't do that.
Mhm.
I keep myself aloof, and I feel like people should leave me alone. So maybe that disturbance was causing that discomfort to me, that
Mhm.
anger which I'm feeling from inside.
Mhm.
And but as I don't want people to know that I'm angry, so
Okay.
maybe I'm making it more smooth from outside.
Mhm. Mhm. Right. So that's how you maybe function, because you don't want other people to get disturbed, or maybe it's like you want to show it to others that you can handle it. So you bottle up.
Yeah, maybe. But I sometimes I feel that the person, like people who are like family members,
Mhm.
they should acknowledge that I'm angry. They should not feel that, yeah, it's okay that she's
Mhm.
managing herself.
Mhm.
Maybe that's why I'm not able to open up, because the whole idea is that she will manage up everything, whatever comes.
Right. So maybe you can introspect at this level that why do want to carry on this way? What is, why can't
Yeah,
you communicate to others? Or maybe if it's causing you a little bit of disturbance also, then maybe a few expectations are there that people should understand you. What is stopping you from, you know,
uh,
feeling like that?
I don't know. I don't feel like that. If I'm angry, that I should shout or throw. I feel
Mhm.
like from inside, I feel like doing that. But somehow I feel that people should leave me, or I should go out and I should sit in some garden or somewhere else.
Mhm.
And when I'm calmed down, I should come back home.
Right. So there's no expression of anger, what I feel.
Yeah, you are true that. I'm not angry. Yeah, but maybe the situations makes me little sad or little anxious. So I just want to move away. And it's slowly increasing in my habit that nowadays I don't get angry
Hmm.
on anything.
See, that's okay. That's a learned response, maybe, but our expectations. See, anger has an ulterior motive. Something has stopped or something has been blocked. That's why there's a deeper feeling inside, which comes out through anger, frustration, jealousy, all these things. There's some hurt or some kind of sadness or some kind of neglect which comes out through anger. If you have recurring anger patterns, or anger patterns which are not very common, like in
Mhm.
your case, maybe you're bottling up too much, which might lead to a little bit of sadness down the line.
I have a
Yes.
question, ma'am.
Just
Can
one
I,
minute.
ma'am?
Just one
Yeah.
minute. So maybe it's for all of us. In fact, when we are seeing that this is not the way it should be, if I'm angry, I need to express, or if I'm angry, I shouldn't. Of course, we shouldn't be throwing and hitting people. But then, what is causing us that heaviness in our heart? If there's a lot of heaviness due to our anger, which is causing relationship issues, career-related issues, or self-development issues, we need to rethink and remold whenever we are making this anger and symbolizing. Let's try to remold and make it into something else which can be
Okay.
more of a positive connotation for us. That will give you an answer to tread on. Once our subconscious mind is at work, it will give you certain pathways in order to walk and see if that is working out for you or not.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very
Just give it a try. Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, the question related to Sarika ma'am only, that the compressing the emotion is also not a good thing for a mental health. That the thing she's all going through and all, the aggression she's compressing and all. So it's also not a good side of, if we talk about the mental health, it will increase a lot of other things like uh, it's the thought increasing in the mind. These are all the things that can be increased mentally. So
Yes,
compressing that emotion is also not a good thing. So
absolutely.
there are the other ways also that we can help ourselves to express our emotion, like through painting and all these things. There are other activities we can also do.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thereby I told you, if you can mold it, see, this is an art-based, tool which you can
Yeah.
use to the fullest. So let our subconscious mind guide us, because our subconscious, unconscious mind has all the answers in the world. Okay, whatever your problem is, it knows the best. But we don't let it bring it into our consciousness, because it might just create trouble for us, for our own development. Okay, because we need to think about our society, our family, our career, everyone around us. So that's why we keep on bottling in order to show up into the society. But your
Yeah.
subconscious mind will give you certain
Mhm.
guidance in order to tread on that path and try to figure out, yes, this might just work for me. This is what I actually want. Okay, and then I can reshape it and remold it as per my societal needs.
Okay.
Yeah, here, thank you both of you. But yes, art is my lifeline. Whenever I am out like this, I just sit for hours and just do paintings or make something like mandalas or something. So that gives me a lot of like I feel very comfortable. And yes, I'm going through a bad phase of my life. I accept that, and no one can help me here. I can only help myself. That also I know. So I am in the process, and that is the reason I joined this class.
It's
To
very
understand.
important to
Sure, you'll
prioritize
find your
yourself
answers.
and to prioritize your things. It's very important in the life, Sarika ma'am. Na? What I
So
think is my right.
I
It
I
will
don't
help.
want to speak up, but
Yeah.
I lost someone who was very dear to me,
Oh,
and I'm not able to cope up.
Really sorry to hear that, ma'am.
sorry to hear that.
Okay, it's okay. We can move forward. Thank you very much.
Take care, ma'am. You're always there. If you want to talk, please give me a call, or anyone whom you're comfortable in the group.
Thank you.
Ma'am, I just have a
Kosha,
doubt.
yes, you would like to say?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Ma'am, usually for me, tearing page helps me to channelize my anger.
Kosha, your voice is very muted. Can you bring the
Okay,
phone
am
in?
I audible now?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. So, what works for me when I am angry is tearing a page.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, I have tried scribbling, but it didn't help me. I think different things work for different people.
Mm.
Um, but scribbling, not particular pattern here which I have to follow in order to channelize anger, or it has to be just a normal scribbling, something that is more spontaneous.
See, anything works if you feel better. Say what you said, that scribbling doesn't help you, but tearing the page helps. So you need more of vigorous, tactile activities in order to shed your anger.
Okay.
Okay, for some people, you'll see they're scribbling and tearing of the page, they're making a hole into it, they're crunching it, making into a ball and throwing it away. So, all these are different techniques through which, after doing it, you might just feel better. Okay, so maybe scribbling helps for someone, it doesn't for you. So, you have to just pick and choose certain activities which may help you to kind of vent out. When I get angry, I kind of, rearrange my shelves, dust them and clean them, and then rearrange it and let them look much more neater and cleaner. I feel much more calmer, so that works for me. Tearing of paper doesn't work for me. So depends on different, personality patterns, depends on your needs, depends on what you actually want. That those are subconscious kind of, you can say, symbols, but then it's okay. Whatever works for you, whatever makes you feel better is okay, unless and until it's harming anyone. Okay, so for some people, throwing objects is a good way of dealing with anger. They calm down instantly, but that is not recommended because you're destroying
Yeah.
things. So, alternatively, maybe you can tear paper. There are punching bags. Then you can crumple up paper. You can tear and paste something. So that might just be an alternative to throwing things, or
So
maybe
throwing
working
a
with
pillow would work.
sorry.
Throwing a pillow would work. I'm saying.
Yes, you can just punch into the pillow if that works
Yeah.
for you.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So that depends on different people, what things help them. So there are so many tools, you can pick and choose whatever is good for you. It's not necessarily that whatever I'm sharing will be the best fit for you. It can be something very different. Okay. So you have to keep on trying and seeing where you feel the best. So that will be your thing and you can continue doing it.
Okay. Yeah. So, ma'am, I
Okay.
have
For,
one more doubt.
yes.
So,
Yes.
ma'am, many a times women generally, even clients, they can go through mood swings and all, depending. Uh, so, ma'am, like, is there a possibility that anger is also caused by mood swings? I mean, I know this that it does cause anger for sure,
Yes.
but we don't always need a thought to be angry. It can
See,
it
there's
could
a
be
general sense of irritation since we,
yeah,
specifically for women, when we are on our periods, we have different hormonal changes inside our body. So that's very biological. But becoming conscious of your anger or any negative emotion will help you, kind of manage it. I'm not
yeah,
saying that it will never happen to you. It
yeah,
will definitely come and go, but the way you're managing so that you're functioning at your best should be your goal.
yeah,
Me feeling irritated is not a crime, or me feeling angry or anxious or fearful or sad is not a crime. But
yeah,
how am I managing? How am I pulling myself up? How am I going about my own day? What am I engaging in? How am I, replacing these negativities with certain positive things, which I have identified? So that awareness, basically, art based therapies are also to find out awareness in people. The more you are aware of your patterns, whether it be anger, anxiety, whatsoever emotions, the more you're aware, the more better you will cope with them. Because now you're aware, this is my
So, ma'am, are
pattern,
there
this is
any
what's.
specific activities that help us to do?
Sorry, are there any?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't get you.
Uh, Specific art therapy activities
Yes, whatever we have been doing is kind of,
like
moving
person
towards
is being
understanding yourself.
yeah,
And then there are a few tools which you can do it regularly,
okay,
which I'll be sharing today through the anxiety management, because the crux of everything
okay,
is through fear and anger. Okay. All the other emotions are
yeah,
interrelated, fear and anger. Right. So today's
okay.
class will be on anxiety and how it works and what can we do about it and the patterns, through a exercise, we'll try to find out the patterns. So, what we'll be looking into what is anxiety, what is state and trait anxiety, its basic types of disorders which are associated with anxiety, the tools which you can use, very easy tools, in fact, and I'll be talking a little bit about the assignment and internship. So, going by the definition of anxiety, it is a natural response to stress. Please remember this. It is a natural response to stress or perceived threats and involves a complex interplay between the brain, nervous system, endocrine system, which is the hormone system. And here, the thought patterns also triggers the way we are feeling anxiety or the fear inside us. So it's a sense of fear and apprehension and overthinking, you can say. This you can read up when I'm sending you, but to make things easier, here's a picture. Okay. So if I give you this situation that there's a tiger and you're a caveman or a woman, okay, and how would you react to this? What do you think? How would you react to this?
Ma'am, can you repeat, please?
Yes, here's a picture of the tiger. Just a second. Yes, here's a picture of a tiger which is on screen, and then there's a caveman. What do you think will happen? How would you be feeling? See the person standing here with the torch and the bow and the arrow with the hammer is a caveman. It's you, okay? Man or a woman. And then there's a tiger. Go back in time and tell me what will happen.
From inside, it will be fear, but we will not show the fear on our face so that the tiger can't attack us, right? So we will be careful, like to make him like he don't attack us. Like from inside, it will be fear.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So it will be fear, and but you told me that you will not let the tiger get to know about it.
From the facial expression, I will not show him ki, like, and I'm scared, getting scared of him,
Okay.
right?
Do you think you'll get so much of time to think?
No, no, no.
Okay.
Ma'am,
Anyone would like to say?
ma'am,
Yes, yes.
adding on
Yes, Debbie.
to ma'am once, I mean, just now what ma'am has said, like this man is having mashal, and I would show him like animals are, I mean, they fear fire, so I will be stepping back, sweating, and my heartbeat will be raised, and might be shivering also, and showing him the fire that don't
Okay.
come near to me.
Okay.
Yes,
Yes, someone said that they're going to run or fight. And what else? So, what do you think? This was a real fear or a perceived fear? Being scared of
Perceived
a
fear.
tiger was a real
Perceived
fear,
fear.
like the environment is actually giving you a challenge, or is it just in your mind?
ma'am, environment is giving
Real fear.
challenge.
Real.
Environment, yeah, it's supposed to
Real
Yes. Now look at now look at this fellow. Let's come back to our modern times. We often lounge on our sofas or on our beds, and we think about a lot of things. Good things, bad things, mostly overthinking. A lot of things happening in our head all the time. It's always in fast forward. Everything running around in our minds in fast forward. So there's no tiger here, but the person is feeling the same thing. They are thinking about, oh my God, what about the exam? Oh my God, I have a presentation tomorrow. I'm going to present it in front of 100 people. What are they going to think about me? Or, oh my God, I'm going to fail. Okay, so all these thoughts are there while we are lying down. Is it a perceived threat or a real threat?
ma'am, perceived.
In this, it's a real threat, I think.
Real? Why do you feel real?
Yeah, because overthinking the things which has been like, there are some incident, might be an incident, something that past में कुछ चीजें हो चुकी that he's just
Okay.
overcome, he's not able to overcome from it, right?
Mhm,
And
mhm.
these the same process is going through and through. Whenever it's not only the cause, whenever he sits alone, the thoughts are coming again and again in his mind.
Right, right. Okay, you have a point, of course, but most of the time we are thinking maybe the incident has not happened. So it's basically our perception in our mind. It's not like the tiger which is real to us. This is actually a threat. What if the tiger eats us up, or what if I'm killed by the tiger? So what do I need to do? I need to run or fight. So from here, the concept of fight and flight responses have come up. When our ancestors had this innate fear of being harmed, whether it was animals, it was fire, it was natural calamities, because living conditions were very tough. So the genetic makeup has become like that, that flight and fight response is triggered almost all the time. Okay, because it was environmental threat, it was a real threat. Okay, it was not in their minds. It was actually happening to them. So fight and flight response is a very primitive response which we are carrying still now. Maybe there's no tiger around, maybe there is no people around who will be harming us. We don't have everyday hassles as being murdered or killed or being hurt or being having certain trouble with the environment or facing certain animals. But we have certain perceived threats which are going on in our head. If you have read about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we are living at an era where we are fulfilled at the base level. The basic food, clothing, housing, all these things are taken care of. What we are more bothered about are the love and belonging needs, self-esteem needs, and the self-actualization needs. So that is where we are stuck. The more stuck you are there, it's more of a perceived threat which comes out through these anxiety responses. Now, why do we have anxiety? Can someone tell me with this regard, why are we facing anxiety? Anxiety is a very, very, very primitive emotion. It's a kind of, from here it started, where fight and flight responses are triggered. Now, why do you think we are facing anxiety now? We don't have any physical threat around us. So why are we facing so much of anxiety?
Future.
Overthinking.
Overthinking, future.
Yeah, overthinking
Yes.
about
And people
future.
are usually in the fear of unknown. I mean, which they think that they might not know the extent of things.
Yes.
That particular thing fears them most. I mean, sorry, they are afraid
Fear
of
of
that most.
uncertainty.
Absolutely.
And they're
Yes.
not living in the present moment.
Right, right.
The
So,
fear of acceptance also it can be included because it might
mhm,
be in their thought ki like the other people can't accept us the way they are or the way they think or before presenting themselves in front of anyone, right? They
mhm,
started thinking and thinking. So fear of
right.
acceptance from the other side,
Mhm.
right? So the pre-assumption thoughts, the things going in their mind.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Fear of being loved or cared or respected, or maybe fear of failure. There's so many inputs from everywhere. Now, a lot, obviously, most of you are working. So, has anyone noticed a change, drastic change after COVID struck in the anxiety levels?
Ma'am, for some it has increased more than before, and some it has decreased because they are now कि अब तो ये भी face कर लिया तो we can do
Mhm.
anything. So it's like a
Yes,
mixture of feelings right now for
yes.
people.
Okay, okay. Anyone who
I
has
think,
felt
ma'am,
sick? Mhm.
I have some negative points. Like
Mhm.
in the COVID period, the people are at the home. So when
Mhm.
the COVID was not there, the people were like busy with their work, so the
Mhm.
anxiety did not come across, right?
Mhm.
Up now they are stuck at the home, nothing to
Mhm.
do, like much work as like co-working and all. So
Mhm.
the things of anxiety has been increased, right? At that
Okay.
time, they are not able to realize themselves, कि, oh, I'm going with this issue, or matlab, sitting at home is is a normal thing, and they are not able to sit at home for a long time. They want to go out. Earlier, they were like busy with the social life. They're going out for work. They're
Mhm.
meeting people and all. And now COVID is like you have to restrict it at one place, one house for
Mhm.
a full time, right? So
Right.
I think anxiety has been increased more in COVID. So there is
Okay.
a mental issue. The people are realizing themselves the mental health more um,
Mhm.
in the COVID period. Yeah.
Okay. Now, again, let me go back to this slide. Now, this person has faced the tiger. He's very, very scared. Okay. He's very alert. So, what his brain is doing is triggering the flight and fight response. Okay. Either you fight or you run. Okay. For these two actions, what do you think is required the most in the body? What is the most important thing which will be required in order to either fight or run away?
Energy,
And
Yes, energy. Energy
action,
where? Where
limbs,
would it?
I mean
action,
hands, legs.
Yes,
Good
muscles,
health.
hands, legs,
Good
limbs.
health. Good
Yes.
health.
So that you can run, either you can fight with your fists or you can run. So for that, the brain sends signals to your viscerals, to your hands and legs, so that you get that extra boost of energy. Now, where will this extra boost of energy come from? You have some amount of energy within your body. It needs to shut down other things, like stomach. The first thing which stops is your hunger response, digestion. Okay, that's why people with anxiety issues will have digestion issues. Okay, because it keeps on stopping itself. The body keeps on stopping that. So your digestion stops. Your prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for logical thinking. Logical thinking is not required for running away. Okay, you just need to run with all your energies. So all these things which are unnecessary, digestion, then thirst, then your thinking, all that energy is channelized into your limbs or viscerals. The entire energy goes there, and that helps you in running away. Okay, so you don't need to think in order to run. You just run from there. You just see the target and you run away from it. That's the only thing which you need. Okay, yes, sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. Sympathetic nervous system is triggered here. So what is happening? We are getting energy in our limbs and running away. Suitable for this ideal situation. Okay, you are depleting your energy. After the run, you have depleted all your energies, which are there. The extra energy which is there in your limbs, you have depleted it. You have got rid of it after running or after fighting. Now what happens here? You're thinking, the brain doesn't know it's not real. You're thinking that, okay, I'm standing in front of so many people and trying to deliver a speech, or I'm writing this examination and I don't know anything. You're kind of like the guided visualization where we feel we are in the place. It's same as when we think. The brain doesn't know that it is not real. Okay, here's the catch. The brain doesn't know what is real from unreal unless and until you train it. Right? So what it is doing is triggering the same sympathetic nervous system. And all your energy is going to the viscerals again. Your hands, legs. Okay, and you need to shout, so throat as well. So when we are angry, we tend to shout. When we are angry, we tend to, forget about all the logical things and we blurt out whatever is there in our mind. Okay, when we are anxious, we forget, we kind of blank out, right? So what is happening here is the same response is triggered in your body, but now what is happening, since you're lying down or just sitting, not running away, not fighting, that extra energy is stored in your viscerals. That's why you kind of shiver, tremble, you kind of freak out that point of time, because your energies are stored in your muscles. That extra energy is not depleted. That's why we feel that apprehension, anxiousness, shortness of breath. All these are physiological reactions to anxiety, anger, similar. But the labeling
Ma'am,
part
I have,
is our
I
perception. Yes.
have a question. Like
Yes.
I've gone through many clients when they have anxiety. Usually, and it's happened mainly in the night time suddenly. Why it happens like in a particular time? It's basically in the night time only when they have nothing to do, right? And the thoughts are coming in their mind, and they feel anxious. They have an issue in breathing and all. So it's only happening in the night maximum time, or the situation they face.
Mm-hmm. See, nighttime is the most inactive time, first of all, and your body is tired already. So if you have this extra amount of energy going to your viscerals, obviously you'll start feeling restless. Right? So that restlessness is kind of a byproduct of anxiety itself. And it's like the chain reaction, you start thinking about a negative incident, or you think that this might just go wrong, and then it triggers your physiological reactions. It stores extra energy which you're not depleting, and in turn it makes you feel uncomfortable and all the more anxious, fearful, because you don't know what exactly is happening around you. Why is this happening? Why am I feeling shortness of breath? Okay, so this particular mechanism is related to anxiety. And why am I mentioning this? Because this understanding will help you to cater your tools accordingly for anxiety and anger. Now, what are the common symptoms? Trembling, shivering, nausea, appetite loss. Obviously, it explains, why your entire system shuts down. Sleeplessness, you'll not be able to sleep. You'll have headaches, you'll have breathlessness, you feel choked sometimes, you'll have mind fog. During exam anxiety, a lot of people, a lot of students complain of, I can't remember anything, right? During that,
Ma'am, this can be related to the less
this
self-confidence also. If we talk about
not always, not always.
not always. Okay.
Exam anxiety is also seen in very confident, very, what do I say, very sincere students also.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a lot of students who are very, very sincere, very bright students, very confident, but at the time of exams, that triggers. They have this blanking out. So what we suggest is immediately go for a grounding exercise, go take a walk, drink some water, come back, because that restarts your system. It restarts your parasympathetic nervous system. Okay, so this is a basic technical part to anxiety, which I feel it would be good if you can read it more elaborately. And if you're sharing it with your clients as well, it would be better if you have simple slides, not very technical terms, but explain it to them why your anxiety is coming up time and again. And why are these symptoms surfacing? Okay. So once you have this in place, there's another aspect to it, which is called the state and trait anxiety. Now, state anxiety is something which is temporary. Due to some reason in the environment or certain situations or some stresses, you're feeling anxious. Okay, it is temporary and situational, and it has same physiological and emotional responses which we discussed. Now, an example can be feeling anxious before an important job interview. You're feeling a little anxious. That's okay. The problem arises when you have trait anxiety. Trait anxiety is more an aspect of your personality. It is like a constant thing for you. The slightest of thing might just trigger anxiousness. Okay, so that's something very, very genetic as well. Okay, you might have observed people from the very childhood very anxious. They get worried easily. At the smallest context, they'll start thinking this, that, a lot of overthinking pattern comes up, right? So that is an indicator of trait anxiety, which is kind of inbuilt in the person. It is not due to situational factors only. For example, a person with high trait anxiety might consistently feel anxious in a variety of situations, such as meeting new people, going to crowded places, dealing with everyday challenges. They'll keep on cribbing, I don't know how to do this. Please help me out. What if I can't do? There are lots of what ifs. What if this goes wrong? What if that goes wrong? Okay, so they keep on being in that overthinking loop, right? But there is no immediate threat. An interaction between state and trait anxiety is if you have trait anxiety, that will trigger more and more situations which may lead to your anxiety symptoms. Okay, a small incident might lead to a full-blown anxiety attack or maybe generalized anxiety that may trigger more easily or more readily if you have trait anxiety. Now, there is one question as STI, state trait anxiety inventory, which you can maybe apply it on your clients if you really want to check out whether it's state or trait. But if that's pretty much optional, I'll send across the questionnaire to you in the file. I will upload it. Okay, and CBT techniques have been proven to be the best possible way out of anxiety symptoms, but we are trying to loop in art-based therapies also in order to understand the patterns and how we can do a little bit of catharsis, how we can vent out that extra energy which is stored in our body. Okay.
Ma'am, how genetically anxiety affects a person? Like if from parental, if we talk about,
Mhm.
Like if mother have an issue with anxiety, it is a possibility to same pass on with the
Yes,
child
yes,
also.
yes, yes, yes. There's a high
Okay.
possibility that the child will also get it.
So it's only affect the pregnancy period or like
See,
during the pregnancy.
in genetics, you cannot predict anything as such. Okay, so since it's a permutation of combination of genes, you might just give it to your next generation. It might also skip a generation, but of course, psychological disorders, like biological disorders, have high chances of being transferred to the next generation. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes. The types, generalized anxiety is a constant fear of, fear and apprehensions. You're always worried, or maybe if you're out on the streets, you might just think, oh my God, have I turned off the gas? Oh my God, is the window closed? So just unnecessary things which goes on in loops inside your head. Okay, and it is like more or less very, very constant. You're constantly feeling that. Panic attacks, on the other hand, are very short episodes of losing control over yourself, in the sense that you have shortness of breath, you can't think properly, you have a chest pain. It seems as if you're having a mini heart attack. Okay, and it comes and goes very quickly. It can be very frequent, but the episodes which are there are very short by duration. Breathlessness, feeling of nausea, chest pain, all these are symptoms of panic attack, shivering, shaking. Next is phobia. It is about either
And
intense
then how, excuse me,
fear.
ma'am, how will generalize the panic and anxiety? Because both the symptoms are same. So like
These
on a
are types
duration,
of disorders. Types are there. Okay, you'll have common symptoms, but under anxiety disorders, you have these types. See,
okay,
these are
okay.
disorders I'm talking about. This is not the general anxiety which we feel day in and day out. Okay, this is something beyond the 4Ds which we have under abnormal behavior. Please try to kind of refer to that and try to figure out which type. If a patient comes with anxiety problems, try to gauge whether, first of all, it is an anxiety disorder or not. And if it is so, what would be the specific type?
Different subtype. Okay.
Okay. So, panic attacks and then phobia is some intense, deliberating fear of something specific. It can be a spider, it can be heights, it can be closed spaces, open spaces, etc. Agoraphobia and social phobia are more related to social interactions. Okay, you are scared of entering into a new situation for agoraphobia. For social phobia, it's more of intense fear in interacting with others. You feel a sense of being judged all the time. You feel intense fear about that. So you kind of stop going out. You remain within yourself much more often. Separation anxiety disorder, you'll see most commonly in children. It's not a disorder, however. When kindergarten children, they start going to school. That's the time when they have immense adjustment issues. But that's pretty normal. But if they are older and still expressing this, that's under the disorder, separation anxiety disorder, which may lead to, reluctance in going to school, school phobia, and the like. School
Like some
refusal.
kids, ma'am, like I've seen the kindergarten kids like max to max 1 week. Then the normal kids take time to be adjust in the
Yes.
school, but
Yes.
sometimes the kids take 1 month or 2 months.
No,
So
that's
in
also pretty normal. Beyond that, if you see it in older children or even in adults, this happens sometimes. Adolescents also. So that can be an indicator of SAD.
okay.
Okay. OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, was considered to be part of anxiety disorder, but now it's not. It's a separate disorder. And PTSD as well, post traumatic stress disorder. It was considered to be part of anxiety disorders, but now it's kind of having its own characteristic features.
Ma'am, I just have a question.
Yes.
So, ma'am, usually clients come with lots of what if thoughts. It's a very common thing. Even we experience it.
Mhm.
But specific clients with anxiety. So,
Mhm.
in such a situation, ma'am, what would be the right way of, rationalizing
Yes,
thoughts?
we'll just talk about it. First, let's
Okay,
just go
okay.
with this physical grounding procedures.
Sure, sure.
I'll give you the psychological grounding techniques in the ebook, which I'll be sending you. Okay, so for physical grounding techniques, this you might have already heard of it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique. Okay, this might be taken for granted, but this is one of the very, very basic needs for management of anxiety. Now, it can be physically done, like if you look around, say you look around 5 things and name them. Okay, it can be of different colors also. If we can quickly do it all together, that will give you a short description of as to how we do it. Okay, so when I tell you a color, you have to go by 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, say for instance, I first tell you red, you have to find 5 red objects and note it down in the chat box. Okay? Or maybe write it, whichever suits you. Are you ready? Then if I go by the color green, then 4 green things you have to write down. So everyone ready? Okay. The first color for you would be black. 5 black things. Let me see who gets it first. Five black things around you. You can just note it down in the chat box. Okay, so a lot of you are writing it already. The rest of you, 5 black things. Black is very common. Come on. Okay, okay. All right. Okay, the next would be 4 pink things. 4 pink things around you. You can walk around and also, kind of put the input. Okay, a lot of you have already got 4 pink things. Okay, next one would be 3 yellow things. 3 yellow things. Yellow is very difficult to find. Okay, now next one would be 2 gray things. 2 gray things. Okay, and the last one, 1 copper object. Anything which is copper. 1 copper object. There should be no cheating since I'm not present with y'all physically, so I'll not be able to know. So no cheating, okay? Okay, so a lot of you got it. So it was like a mini treasure hunt. So how, after doing this exercise, how are you feeling?
Like we have to think very fast. Our mind works like what are the things are like around us. Like we have to think very fast. Like, just looking here and there, where is the yellow color? What are the things of yellow color or pink color? Yeah, the mind is working fast.
Okay, Anu ma'am is writing, I'm feeling anxious. Oh my God, I'm so sorry to have induced anxiety in you.
So we
But
become more aware of our surroundings rather
yes,
than what is actually going in our mind.
yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely true. So we became much more attentive and focused, and it was more like a laser focus, you know. It did not, it kind of replaced whatever you were thinking. Might be because we were into the class, since you all were listening, doing certain things, your negative thoughts couldn't have the scope to come in. But when you're feeling anxious, or when you're feeling fearful or nervous, or whatsoever negative emotions come up, you can do this quick technique with your environment, which doesn't require too much of tools, too many tools. It is a quick fix from grounding you. Grounding matlab, you kind of come back to your real physical world. When we are thinking, we are in our head space. Headspace matlab, we can think infinite things in our head. It doesn't have any boundaries, which kind of makes us feel very free to think about everything and anything, and that induces a lot of physiological reactions. But when we are grounding, when we are touching objects around, looking for objects around, it gives us a sense of reality. That this is my reality, this is where I belong. So your thoughts are replaced with something more concrete and more focused and more real. So grounding is that. Grounding can be this, grounding can be identifying certain objects around you. You can make your own rules, but the sequence should be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Another thing which grounding is also painting, you know, when you are abstract painting. Remember, we did a no contact meditative painting with watercolors. We were just dripping the paint on paper. So that is also a grounding technique. Anything which will channelize your focus to what you're doing at the present moment.
Ma'am, also doing abstract painting with music in background can help.
Yes, of course, of course. So I was just trying to talk about this also. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 can be also done through your five sense organs.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, in a workshop, what we did was five things you can see, four things you can touch or for hear, three things you can touch, two things which you can smell, and one thing which you can taste. You can always shift the kind of modality. It can be five things you can taste or smell, whatsoever. Make your own rules, but it can be done through five senses also.
Is there any particular range of anxiety we can use these technique with the person? Like if a person is in a high range of anxiety after
Mhm.
doing the test, so can we go with this
Yes, yes, of
technique?
course. See, grounding technique can be done for any age group because everyone will understand. It is so easy. And it can be done with any kind of emotion, not only anxiety. Okay,
Okay.
specifically anxiety because it kinds of channelizes your thoughts. Hmm? And it kinds of calms your body also. Your parasympathetic nervous system is kind of triggered here. So thereby you come back to your normal homeostasis or your normal state of mind. You don't have those extra energies in your limbs. And if you have movement induced 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique, that will help you even more quickly to kind of settle down. Okay. So basically, the focus should be to bring back yourself to your normal physiological state, which will help you to deal with your anxiety. Deep breathing, again, meditation, deep breathing is like a part and parcel of anxiety management. Deep breathing for many of your meditation doesn't work. You're not so patient enough to sit for 10 minutes or even 5 minutes and then kind of meditate. So alternatively, what you can do is on paper, either you go for adult coloring books which has small spaces, or you can alternatively on paper have certain lines drawn and fill up with colors, or you can do no contact meditative painting. So those are also meditative forms of engaging yourself. Then there is breath drawing, wherein when you breathe in, you kind of draw a line on the paper. You breathe out, you draw another line on the paper. So that is breathing meditation on paper. So these are few very basic tools which you can use. Okay, for deep breathing. Then for children, you can print the cards which has, say, infinity symbol. Then you have sunflower breathing, you have heart breathing, you have box breathing. Okay, when you're teaching children, you can keep the cards on. You can ask them to trace the lines and then let them breathe in and breathe out. So that will keep them more focused. You know, if you just ask them to sit and breathe, they will just simply lose focus. If you have colorful printout cards which are laminated, and you can ask them to trace the lines and breathe in and breathe out. Once you go to Pinterest or Google, you will find lots of these already, made download. You can download them. In fact, pre-made downloads are available, which you can simply print, laminate, and keep it for your practice.
Ma'am, we can use this technique for the ADHD kids also.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yes, because they find it pretty much amusing and playful, because you're giving, this is a game-based thing, isn't it? So it's pretty much interesting for them as well.
Okay, thank you.
Drug addicts, see, for them, you can of course use deep breathing and all. Body scan you can use, that is pretty useful. Grounding also it can be used, no problem. These are pretty much can be used for any issues which are going on.
Ma'am, just can you repeat? There was heart breathing technique, finger breathing technique, and one more, right? What was
There
it?
are lots of techniques. There is star, there is square, there is rectangle, there's circle.
Okay.
Then there is so many are there. There's an endless list. I'll put a few in the ebook itself. Okay, so
Okay,
the
ma'am.
notes which I'll be sending, I'll put a few of them so that you can take that reference and search up more. Mostly you'll find it on Pinterest. Pinterest is a very useful app. You can, get lots of nice tools out there.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Next one is body scan. Body scanning is basically closing your eyes and scanning every part of your body. So you move from your head to your toe. Last week, I think Gargi had done a very brief, visualization technique. Similar to that, you can have a head to toe scan, like wherein you are feeling certain sensations of discomfort. You notice the pressure, you notice the temperature of things around you, how the clothes feel on you, then whether you have any kind of pain in your body also. Okay, so what you can do is give a template of a body. For a girl, it would be a girl. For a boy, it will be a boy, and the like. Okay, so once you put the silhouette, ask them to body scan gradually. You can guide them from head to toe. Gradually, take 10 minutes or so to scan the entire body, and then they can put their emotions on the paper. Like wherever they felt pain, they can color that part. They can write about it, how they were feeling, what they experienced, how did they calm down. So this will help them when they are in times of stress, say anxiety or anger. If you get this into a practice of body scanning, if you can teach them the practice of body scanning, they can apply it when they're angry or when they're anxious. The moment they identify that, yes, my hands are shivering, that's why I'm nervous. So what can I do about it? So it's like a psychosocial training also given to them. Okay. Now, grounding objects, if you feel that the person is extremely anxious most of the time, trait anxiety, if you can see conspicuous trait anxiety characteristics, you can always ask them to carry something which feels good in their hands. A stress ball is made for this reason only, so that we can release the stress from our muscles. We can release the extra energy from our muscles. When you squeeze and release, it releases the extra energy and makes you much more calmer. It can be a stress ball, it can be fabric, it can be a stone, it can be anything which you feel is correct. So those fidget toys which you get is to deal with anxiety. Any kind of fidget toys which you see available in the market. It can be a sound inducing fidget toy, it can be some textured fidget toy, it can be something which has movement in it, it can be something which you can squeeze in. Okay, so all these fidget toys can help an anxious person deal with it. But when you're asking the person to use it, whether it be educational setting or professional setting, the person's responsibility is to let other people know why they're using it. Because a lot of times teachers don't understand. They kind of scold the child. Why are you using this? What is the need? Other people will get distracted. But as a counselor or maybe as a therapist, you need to psychoeducate people as much as possible around you. That these things are required in order for the person to get more calmer with their feelings so that they can manage, hold on to the object and focus on certain things.
Ma'am, just a question.
Yes,
So, ma'am, there are many people who experience tremors and all.
yes.
They become shaky. Their hands start shaking, legs start shaking. So, ma'am, during that time, what works best for them
See,
besides
either
stress test?
grounding objects will work or movement. The last point which I've included, the movement works wonderfully for
Okay.
such issues, okay? Because they need to
Okay.
engage in walking, stretching,
Yeah.
dancing, or anything which is physically depleting you of energy.
Yeah. Because there are some people who experience this especially during public speaking.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is a complaint that I have heard from many of them.
Right, right.
So, uh, like on the spot, there is
Mhm.
nothing which will help them to calm them down. Uh,
See, if it's public speaking, they can,
yeah.
of course, there's a CBT part to it also. This will not in itself help, but it can help manage the symptoms by how either they can have a small fidget toy, okay,
Okay.
or
Okay.
if it's not possible at all, then maybe compressing your fist, making your fist very tight and releasing it. Maybe all of you can do it together.
Yeah.
I'll just show you how. Let me switch on my camera. So if you kind of, have your fists together,
Yeah.
clench it very, very hard till a point where you can bear it and then gradually release it. Just all of you do it together. Maybe then you can understand what I'm talking about. Um, just clench it like this. Like the time you get angry and small children does like this, एकदम गुस्से से जितना जोर से हो सके kind of push in your fingers inside your palm. Okay. And then release it, slowly release it. Do it 3, 4 times. Catch it, release it, clench it. Focus on the palm now and see if there are any energy shifts. Is there any temperature shift?
Yeah. More losing.
Muscle relaxation also.
It's a form of muscle relaxation, but at the same time, if you're too tensed or nervous or anxious, when you're releasing this, you will see that there's some temperature change, there's something warm going out of your body. You feel that. Okay, so that can kind of manage that kind of tremors and extra energy which has come up to you.
Yeah.
Also,
Right.
drink some water very slowly. That will trigger your digestive system. The main goal should be to trigger your parasympathetic nervous system and to
Yeah.
subdue your sympathetic nervous system. So
Yes.
that's
Yes.
the only goal for anxiety.
Hmm.
Then you can do lots of things so that the anxiety doesn't come back. But for as a first aid, you can do certain things which can instantly calm you down. Right?
Yeah.
So let's move on quickly because then there's one technique which I want to show you. So I hope this will be of help to you, this slide. I will send across the PPT. Now, personality and anxiety, there is one link basically. You'll see a lot of people who are kind of, I'm not saying that introverts are always fearful and nervous or not confident. I, kind of indicating that maybe people who are a little introverted or maybe towards the fag end of the spectrum of personality, you'll see introverts will have difficulty or have patterns which are related to anxiety as well. They get
Yes.
easily anxious to talk to people, to approach them. Social anxiety is seen as a major issue. Okay, they might be confident speaking one to one, but they'll become very, very conscious in speaking with other people or approaching them or being in a party all the time. That kind of depletes their energy. Okay, for even extroverts, which we have observed, a lot of highly extroverted people, they will feel restless, more of restlessness. We can see restlessness form of anxiety if they are unable to socialize. So exact opposite hota hai. For people who are introverted, it's more towards, oh my God, how am I going to be judged? From extroverts to be, oh my God, I don't have anything to do right now. When I'm going to go out, I feel so restless. I feel so uncomfortable being alone all the time. Okay, so this is a pattern which comes up. Now, this particular technique, person plucking apple from the apple tree, will give you a brief overview of how you can gauge a person's personality patterns and then relate it to the anxiety patterns which are surfacing. Okay, so I'll show you the document which is there. It's a very easy technique, nothing much. Just give me a moment. Where is it? Administration is very easy. What you need to do is you need to instruct the person to draw a person plucking apple from an apple tree or a person plucking mango from a mango tree. Now, the mango is an adapted version for Indian version basically, but you can safely do apple from the apple tree. It's relatable. Okay. So you need to draw a person plucking apple from the apple tree. If you can draw it quickly, I'll go through the document.
We need to draw a person.
Person plucking
Like
apple from apple tree. Okay, it can be anything. You need not be artistic. I'll just give you 5 minutes to work on this, and then we'll come back for the explanation. This is similar to the house tree person tool. I'll give you much more details in a separate recording. Okay, so HTTP and this one, I'll give you a separate recording for this. For the timing, just to get an idea.
Ma'am, stick figures will also do.
Sorry?
Stick figures will do.
Yes,
Like-
yes, absolutely. No issues.
Ma'am, the fish technique can also work very well for anger management, no?
Yes, yes, yes. Personality, anger, depression, everything. It will give you certain personality indicators. Accordingly, you can, kind of modify your tools, whatever you'll be using. This is also good for career assessment. A basic overview you will get about the personality.
No, ma'am, I'm talking about the fist technique.
Sorry?
Fist. The yeah.
Yes.
Anger, yeah.
Anger and anxiety has the same trigger mechanisms.
Yeah.
Only the labeling is different.
Yes.
Done, ma'am.
I hope you could draw. Okay, while I should be giving you more time, but then just try to quickly draw it out. If you want to add details and all, quickly 2 more minutes. Anything you would like to add in to the picture? Okay, I'm moving on since we don't have much time left. Okay, so we'll have these domains which we'll be looking into through the picture. If someone can just, show it or send it in the group, whatever is possible. So we'll look into the domains of your picture, right? Okay. All right. So you drew it pretty quick, huh? All right. So the first part is extroversion versus introversion. So extroversion, how will you indicate? The picture is moving from the center towards all the sides. So you'll have a lot of features, or maybe the page is filled up. Most of it maybe you'll be always starting from the middle, but the drawing is not only concentrated in the middle, but it has spread out. So if it's that, you put an E for yourself. Introversion would indicate the picture moving from sides towards the center. So more focus is towards the center, a small space towards the center. Okay, maybe a small picture in the middle or somewhere near the middle. If that is the case, you put yourself as I. Write a capital I for that. If your picture is filled up on the page, or if it has a lot of details around it, it's moving outward. Maybe the figure is away from the tree, like there's a lot of distance between the tree and the figure. That will also be an extroversion trait. So it's like expanding. The sense of expanding will be extroversion, E, capital E. And if it's more centering towards, then it's an I, capital I, introversion.
Can you please repeat this explanation again?
See, if you've drawn the picture in the middle, and if it is concentrated, that means everything is put together very nearby to each other. Okay, so that is an introversion trait. Everything is very compressed, in fact, you can say, towards the center or more towards the center. Now, if it's opposite, like extroversion, it will be more towards, it's like spilling out. Maybe you've drawn the tree in the middle, but you have drawn the man towards the edges, or the woman towards the edges, or the child towards the edges. Or there are lots of details in and around the picture. So that's extroversion. It's like filling up the page more. It has a lot of space in between. Okay, so you put an E for that. Next part is sensing or intuition. Now for sensing, how will you know? You have the S. Picture is made a lot of geometrical lines, straight lines, and are abstract lines. Okay, so you'll have a lot of edgy things, very sharp, edgy, straight. So this would be S for you, and it indicates logical perception. The person whom you're looking at is more logical by nature. For the next part, intuition, you have a lot of curves, circles, round objects, petals, sun. Okay, lots of curves are present. Wavy lines, wind, all these things, which symbols as waves or curved things. That is for intuition, which is marked as I. So in
Ma'am,
this segment, you have either
what if
sensing
we
or
have both?
intuition. If you have a balance of both, that means somewhere you have a blend. But try to see which is more dominant. Something will be dominant, even if it's slight. You can do a quick count of things. That's the way we generally do it. We do a quick count of objects or things which are curvy, and with a few count of things which are geometrical. Straight lines. Sensing and intuition. You need not copy this. I'll send across the PPT. Okay. Just try to kind of gauge what you have drawn for yourself. Next one is thinking and feeling. If there is a lot of locomotion in the picture, maybe winds flowing, petals flying, leaves flying, apples falling, the man is falling off, or the man is walking, lifted hands, holding something, passing clouds, flying birds. Okay, all these, if it's present, then it's a thinking aspect.
Ma'am,
Or more of a person who thinks, logically reasons out a lot of things. It's more related to your thinking patterns. You're a more thought-provoked person. Okay. Put a T for yourself if you see all these. If it is motionless or still, okay, doesn't have too many motions in the picture. Maybe a stationary thing like a rock, or a person sitting with closed eyes. Something which is very stationary, which doesn't show any movement. That can be a feeling person. You're more of an emotional feeling. You go more with emotional decision making.
ma'am,
Yes.
I mean, we have
ma'am,
to
if it
highlight
is
more about the
both,
man. Sorry.
Sorry.
ma'am, if it is like more of thinking, like if my picture is showing like more of thinking, but feeling is also present, but it is in lesser part.
Yeah. So dominance would be thinking. T.
Okay, okay.
Ma'am, do we need to more focus on the person, the emotion of the person, or
No,
the
no,
whole
no, no.
picture
Whole
we need to?
picture. Whole picture.
But how we will like generalize the like person? Okay, we can, but the tree and an apple, how we can like
See, if there is no motion at all in the picture, okay,
motion is
how
in
are you
movement.
perceiving it? There are no apples falling, or there's no wind, no clouds. The person is not plucking the apple. It's just standing.
Okay, okay,
So
yeah, yeah,
then
got
it
it.
is the feeling aspect. Okay.
I have gone. Yeah.
The last part is judging versus perceiving. Judging, it will have a frame like thing around the picture. Not only frame, but there will be boxy things. Maybe a fence around the house, or maybe a line drawn somewhere to demarcate divisions. Okay, to box out things. So that is more towards judging. And perceiving would be a lot of scribbles, lines, careless drawings. You can see a lot of things. Maybe a little bit of scribble here, a doodling here, scattered things all around.
Grass, flowers.
Yes, grass. Yes, yes. That is the perceiving part. Okay, perception, perceiving. Now, perceiving, it's if it's too common in your picture, can be an indicator of anxiety. Okay, anxious prone person. Judging would be too logical a person. Judgment means you are passing down certain decisions. You're already, kind of forming an impression.
It
Okay,
means
now
the more scribbling and the more not interesting, the picture is not showing so much interesting. It means the more anxiety.
no. If you have a lot of perceiving objects like scribbles and crooked lines and scattered lines, dots, grasses are drawn, just like, quick succession lines are there, it might indicate some form of anxiety.
Okay.
So based on this, we have these. You can read through these. These are few samples which I'll send across, which you can just go through and understand. But these are the domains which you can work on. There are 16 domains, okay, based on your E, I, T, F, S, N, J, P. E is for extroverts, I is for introvert. That's the first quadrant. Second quadrant is sensor. You are a sensing person or an intuitive person. The third quadrant is thinkers or feelers, and the last quadrant is judges or perceivers. So whatever your category is, you have to tally it as per the boxes given. Say you are ENFJ, so it's more like caring, enthusiastic, idealistic, organized, diplomats, responsible, skin communication. There are more to it. I will send across more details, but this would be a personality category. ENTP, INTP, these are all personality categories. Okay, so once I send across this PDF, you can carefully look into one, and you can look into the different, characteristics of these domains. Right? So person who are maybe judges or thinkers or more of sensory, these domains would indicate that the person is heavily logical. If everything is very high on this.
I have got a T, S, and P. E, S, T, and P.
See, if we look into ESTJ, that means extroverted, they're sensories, thinkers, and judges. If we look into this box, efficient, outgoing, analytical, systematic, dependable, realistic, like to run the show and get things
Ma'am,
done in an orderly fashion. So always in movement, always in action, right? So depending on these, you will get a quick overview of what you're looking into. On the other hand, if you have feelers, perceivers, intuitive, and introverts, if we go by INFP, where is INFP? Okay. See, INFP will be sensitive, creative, idealistic, perspective, caring, loyal, value, inner harmony and personal growth, focus on dreams and possibilities. So a person who we are looking into this would be always imaginative, empathetic, more towards feelings person. Okay, so this, do not copy it. I'll send it to you. Don't copy anything. Okay, so this will give you an overview of the personality structure, which can also come in use as to what you're gauging or looking at when you're looking at the pictures or the drawings, what you've done. You can practice it if you feel that you have certain questions. When we have the doubt clearing classes, you can always ask me about that. No issues in
And
it.
can we use the other drawing, or do we have to use this plucking apple one only?
See,
Or
this
like
is a
some other
standardized
situation?
one. You can draw, you see, more or less, you'll get similar outputs. Okay, so you can use a different picture also. That becomes a part of your drawing analysis. that you need to learn separately. But for the timing, I feel this would be a good, guide in order to get the hang of things. Once you're looking into the picture, you'll see a lot of scribbles, which we learned in the first class itself. Scribbles, colors, objects, metaphors. Maybe you can start practicing on this first. Okay, because if you try to look into some other picture, you might just get confused, because that's part of a different domain of drawing analysis.
Okay.
So since this has a particular guideline, it's already there, it will be easier for you all to use it. Okay, the next part, any questions quickly? Then I'll go to the next part. This particular strategy, or maybe you can say the technique which I'll be talking about, is the bridge. Okay, so this is a short guided imagery technique as well. So for that, you need to keep away everything for the time being, and then just focus on my voice. Close your eyes and just focus on my voice. Already, you can just close your eyes and just focus on what I'm saying. Whatever you visualize, you will put down on paper as a sketch or a drawing, or you can use colors as per your wish. Okay, are we ready? So imagine yourself standing in front of a bridge. Try to visualize the bridge and the area wherever you are standing is what you have in present. You're walking on the bridge, you take the first step. Notice how you feel. The bridge leads you to where you want to be. How is the bridge? What is it made of? How are you feeling stepping on it? You walk towards the other side. How are you feeling at this moment while walking on the bridge, which takes you to the other side? You are at the other end of the bridge. What do you see? How is the place like? Do you explore or do you stop and go back? What do you do on the other side? See how you're feeling there. What you're doing. What are the emotions which come up? Do you want to stay in the place where you have come, or do you want to go back? How do you feel about your decision? While coming back, how are you feeling? And when you come back to your old place, how do you feel? You can gradually open your eyes if you're done. If you want to take 2 more minutes, you may do so. Once you're done, you may sketch out the bridge particularly and what was it like when you were standing and what was when you crossed. Let's work on it for 5 minutes.
Ma'am, can we pen down the emotions and feelings also instead of sketch?
Yes, absolutely.
Is
Whichever
that
you're comfortable with, yes.
okay?
Once you're done, maybe you can share it in the group. My phone's battery just died down. Won't be able to see, however, let me see. If you can just, maybe switch on your video and show, then that would be great. Or maybe you can put it in the chat. What was the journey like? Anyone who would like to talk about? Yes, please.
Ma'am,
Ma'am, so what I imagined was there was a bridge with a big arch, and the bridge was of cream and white color. Under the bridge, there was a river flowing, which was all blue and had few boats in it. And on one side of the bridge was very green with a lot of bushes of colorful flowers, and the bushes are also decorated with few strings of lights and everything. And on the other side, when I walked through the bridge, so while walking on the bridge, I felt very happy seeing all the greenery. And while I was going ahead to the next side, I felt very excited because here it was very green, and I thought that on the other side it will be, or maybe I imagined it to be greener. So then I walked, and when I reached the other side, I saw uh, again very much green trees, bushes, and everything. And I went on exploring. So when I moved ahead, I saw a huge river flowing, and from river ke us par mein, I saw a huge castle. And from a side, there was a way to the castle, which I was wanting to explore. But then I came back thinking that it would be too much to go ahead. So then I came back. But everything felt really very happy and surreal, that things can be so green and blue and so colorful.
So how were you feeling when you were crossing the bridge? Was
Very
it steady?
excited.
Was it steady? Was it holding on to your weight, or was it very, rickety?
It was, so I would say it was very, it was full of excitement and restlessness also. Restlessness due to the excitement that I want to reach there as soon as possible. And once I reached, again, a little bit of restlessness of exploring the whole area around. And when I reached the riverside from where I could see the castle, I felt a sense of calmness and peace. And also there was this thing that I wish I could go to that castle.
So what can you maybe understand about your own anxiety patterns? See, we all have anxiety patterns.
Yes. So, ma'am,
Uh,
what I could
yes.
understand was that wherever I am as of now, I am satisfied, somewhat satisfied. But if I will get a chance to get onto a better path, I might feel better, I might feel more happy as compared to what it is now.
Okay, okay. But about the words which you used,
Mm-hmm.
the excitement is due to the restlessness, and also the castle which you saw. You're pretty much, amazed by it, but you were not okay in going venturing. What if it doesn't work out, right? That's what you said.
Yes, ma'am.
So what kind of anxiety patterns is coming up? The kind of patterns which are coming up here.
Ma'am, I'll have to think a little about it.
Just think about it. Maybe we can discuss it in the end.
Yes, ma'am, I'll surely think about it.
Sagarika ma'am, you would like to talk about it?
Yes, ma'am. A small bridge.
Mm-hmm.
It's a stone bridge.
Mm-hmm.
And while I was you were guiding us,
Mm-hmm.
I did not feel like crossing the bridge, but somehow I pushed myself, and I reached there, and I just sat on a bench which was lying there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to go further. There was no anxiety, but not a good feeling.
Right, right.
And there is a river flowing under the bridge. Stones are there, trees are there, clouds are there, grass is there.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt good on sitting on the bench.
Right.
So if you ask me,
Mm-hmm.
when I was on the when I started going on the bridge, the emotions are almost same both the sides. There is no anxiety, no excitement.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm okay about the sides.
Mm-hmm. So your action on the other side, if you may allow me to say,
Yes.
is more stationary.
Yeah,
That's
stationary. Yeah.
So see, stationary would indicate some form of rest. Can be a mental rest, it can be a physical rest as well.
Okay.
So nothing wrong in it. If that indicates that maybe rest will help you to deal with whatever you're going through right now, maybe emotions, heavy emotions, or similar emotions. So maybe resting might just help you.
Okay. Okay.
Since you did not want to explore, that's fine. That's okay. But that indication of maybe resting might give you some form of solace. Since you said that you were okay, sitting there. There was no change of emotion, but you were okay with sitting there. Maybe resting, maybe physically resting also will help you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Anukrita, would you like to reflect on what we just discussed?
Ma'am, I'm trying to think, but I'm unable to like identify the anxiety patterns. So if you could help me with that, that would be really grateful.
See, excitement and anxiety, I wouldn't say it's similar, but then it goes hand in hand. Maybe impulsivity is surfacing here.
Mm-hmm.
Due to impulsivity, many a times you feel, oh my God, why did I have to do this? Or I'm too excited about things. So I'm like, positively anxious kind of
Yes.
thing. It's
Happens
more
many
about
times with me.
impulsivity. Right? So it's more about impulsivity patterns which are coming up here.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yes,
you're
ma'am.
positively excited, but then it's like you want things very fast.
Yes.
That might induce a lot of anxiousness.
Yes, ma'am.
It's not a problem. However, we are trying to gauge what kind of anxiety patterns which we engage in.
Yes, in my day-to-day life also, there are times when I face this thing that due to positive anxiety or maybe some kind of excitement that I tend to get little impulsive, which may prove to be good, which may not be in my favor. But yes, this happens in my day-to-day life also.
So quick to take decisions, maybe.
Yes, ma'am.
But
At times, yes.
But if it is causing you more trouble than good, then you need to rethink about it.
Yes.
So if someone is coming with the same pattern and getting into a lot of trouble and self-loathing patterns, then why am I supposed to do this? I'm not like this. Why do I land up getting into trouble all the time? Then maybe you can redirect this.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, Shabudi. Yes, that's.
Hello.
Hi.
Actually, I want to share the place, the breeze. Some people from West Bengal can relate to it. This is the bridge of Nil Nirjane. Nil Nirjane, Birbhum, and it is concrete bridge and a long one. When I was passing the bridge, there was the sunset There was lots of color, and one side there is a dam, and one side there is a what I can say, harsh beauty. And I was crossing towards my friends, and there are so many friends with me, and I was happy with them, and I returned with them.
Okay, so you visualize this happy scene out there, isn't it?
Yes, relaxed, and I was enjoying this
Okay.
beach and the walk.
And the other side of the bridge, what did you see?
My friends were there,
Hmm.
and I crossed the bridge and meet with them.
Okay. So did anyone see any kind of anxiety patterns in this?
No, ma'am, it was more relaxing and calming, not anxiety. Like whenever, like if you go back to our real world, so we handle the situation in a very calm way
Mm-hmm.
because the environment was very relaxing and calming. So whatever the real work we have to do, like we go back to home and we have to see the same situation. So we dealing those situation in a very calm and relaxing way instead of getting irritation or some other kind of emotion. Yeah.
So you have to remember this particular technique will be, again, this is a guided visual imagery technique. So this will be reflecting your present mood state. Since maybe ma'am has gone for a trip or has been mesmerized by that maybe bridge, that still happy memories are there. But if we have to go into analysis, there are lots of catchphrases which I've picked up. The dam, the beauty which you were talking about, what the forest which you're talking, wild beauty, harsh
Harsh beauty. And actually, I am missing the enjoyment or the friends now. And I want a vacation. I want a rest, and I want to be secured with them. I feel
Yes.
happy.
So see, this pattern through the conversation comes up that, maybe due to work related stress, you are going back into that happy memory where you're longing to bring back that time. Okay. So that might give you certain indicators as to what you can do best. Maybe catch up with some friends and have a good time. Maybe not go for a vacation if it's not possible, but at least have a good time with your friends, because the word friends are coming up pretty often. So that might be very important for you right now. Okay, that might get you into a better mood altogether.
Yeah. Thank you.
So anyone else who would like to share?
May I, ma'am?
Yes, please.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So what I visualized was like a gray color, not a dark gray, a light gray color, which was cement-like color, a bridge which had arch-like shape, and there was no anything under it. It was just a bridge grounded to the earth. And am standing on the opposite side. I can visualize some greeneries around me, and as soon as I started walking on it, I felt a little excited or impulsive to reach to the end, as I started hearing. So first it was hard for me to visualize. Then after when the exercise started, it was hard to visualize. When the scenarios when I started visualizing, it was easy only. Then when I reached at that point, I felt urges coming, like like doing every day, like to exercise, to read this, to do that, some career related options which I am trying to do right now, which I'm focused right now. So those were coming around. So memories felt like I was there in that option. So I was in that particular state of mind when I was doing my UG. So I felt like okay, maybe my UG days are appearing back. So I felt the same happiness, myself viewing in the same past emotion, or yeah, same pictures. I visualized that. Then coming back, okay, I felt like okay, it is needed or required to come back and cope up. Maybe we can try this, and whatever we visualize, maybe we can try that and employ them in the real life.
Right. So maybe doing some courses, learning comes up through your visualization. Like if you learn something new, that will give you more motivation to kind of feel
Exactly.
happier.
Yeah. So yeah, I felt like exercising, taking some exams, some group exams, some net or like some therapy based classes. So my visualizations were like that.
Absolutely. Okay. Yes, Chandan.
Ma'am, can we use this technique with for exams, stress,
Yes.
anxiety,
Yes,
students with exam anxiety?
absolutely. Because if you
Because
have,
if you have,
if you have some,
if you have some,
I think someone
I think
who
someone
is
who
having a mic
having a
problem.
mic.
Rashmi. Ah,
Rashmi,
yes. Okay. So if you have students, visualize this. You will see a lot of students are, going and exploring and enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
That would indicate that they are not very focused in life. Their verbatim, when you are looking into their verbatim, when they are talking about what they are doing on the other side, they might be very excited. They might reach a point, but afraid to venture. So their anxiety is more related to self-loathing patterns, not very confident. Okay, so maybe as a guide, you can push them towards visualizing more and more towards achieving whatever is there on the other side. So if you
Okay.
do it at a subconscious level, your conscious level also come in term with the problem solving strategy. It's for everyone. Whoever got stuck and came back, whatever you visualize is what you want. Okay, so what you want in life. So since you're coming back, or maybe once you come back you're not feeling good about it, or you left unfinished business on the other side, you can as a guide push them to visualize, maybe not in the same session. Once you brainstorm as to what they're feeling, maybe in the next session you again ask them to go and see if they can further move on.
Okay.
Yes, so for students, it's very effective because there in the other side, on the other side, you can ask them to do certain things which can lead them to fulfill their desires. It can be career related, it can be person related, it can be relationship related, it can be anything,
Okay. Thank you.
right? And the condition of the bridge will actually tell you whether the person actually has anxiety or not. Condition of the bridge and what they're feeling on the bridge. Okay, so if it's a very wobbly, rickety bridge, that means there is some form of unsurety, insecurity, not very sure of where they are venturing into.
And how the condition of the bridge like means
If,
the
if the bridge is very concrete, not rickety, it's stable, it's concrete, that means the person knows where they are going. They have good plans as to what they are doing. They are aware of the things. Awareness is present. Okay.
I
But
mean, that could deeply uh, yeah.
sorry, ma'am.
Sorry, ma'am.
Ma'am, my question was somewhat similar to it. Is the structure of the bridge also predict or indicate something?
Yes, structure
Yes.
of the more concrete it is, the more stable it is. In fact, not concrete only. The more stable it is, the more secure it is. It indicates that you are more or less, sure of what you are, where you're going, or what you're venturing into. Okay, there's this
Okay,
form
there's this form of
there's a form of security and safety. But on the other hand, if it's just a wooden bridge, if it's a bridge which is, wobbly by nature, if it is a bridge which can be easily broken, or you're feeling very apprehensive, you're feeling fearful to step on it and move on, that can indicate that you're not very sure of what you want in life. Okay, that is what is causing you a form of anxiety. There can be underlying anxiety patterns. What you're seeing underneath the bridge, if it's like a lot of water passing on and you're feeling fearful, that means there is some form of anxiety, underlying anxiety due to various reasons, of course. Okay, if you see a lot of crocodiles maybe trying to, give you a bite or trying to harm you, there can be a fear of danger. Okay, enemies, danger. You have that sense of insecurity within you. If the river is maybe very stagnant, murky, and smelly, or it's dirty, that gives you a sense of you don't not liking the place at all. You're not liking to venture out. You're being forced into going into. You're not very much in alignment with what you want in life.
But ma'am, water under the bridge, but the emotion of the person is relaxed and he's
That's fine.
feeling happy.
That's
Then
fine.
okay.
That's fine. What flowing water and everything, that's okay. That's normal way of life. We are looking into something. But if the bridge contains a murky, marshy water where you see a lot of filth, that place is very dark, then the emotions arising out of it would be disgust. So all those emotions will pop up when you're crossing the bridge. Complacence, or you not wanting to change anything. It's a sense of lull. It's a sense of freezing response where we don't want to venture out. We don't want to do anything. Forms of maybe low mood, depression. I wouldn't say depression, clinical depression, because that's more heavier on the heavier side. But indicators of low mood, hopelessness.
Ma'am, can we range the person anxiety level with these techniques or some with these sketches? Can
See,
we?
of course you can do it. You can have a 5-point scale. I've been always telling you, mood meter is there, thermometer, mood thermometer is there. You have your the other questionnaires also, where you can gauge what they are feeling. What's the anxiety type? What's their anxiety level? You can always gauge. Along with that, these are conversation starters. These are certain things where you can push the person or guide the person into imagining certain things at the subconscious level, which
Okay.
will help them eventually in their daily, everyday life. In fact, right?
Can
There
we
are
use the same technique for knowing about other feelings of the person, the latent feelings or hidden feelings of the person?
see, latent feeling, hidden feelings, all will come out through the narratives which you are talking about. It will come out through the story which they are telling you. Many a times people are stuck to express. So this will be a good way of knowing what the future plans are, immediate plans are. It might just change after a month. Okay, so what their immediate plans are, how they are going about it, how they're feeling. Okay, whether they are prepared for it or not. So all these will give you indicators through which you can start your conversation. And then when you start conversing, they will open up gradually about how they're feeling, what they're going through. Then you can have your own analysis part with the colors, with the metaphors, what all objects are present in the drawing.
So it's a technique like to make it more open and to make us more to know more about his conflict part, right? So that we
Yes.
can go on the root cause.
All types of emotions will come up. Whatever they're feeling right now, not only anxiety patterns, but also what they're feeling right now, whether it's low mood, whether it's anxiety, whether it's anger, whether it's insecurity, impulsivity, stagnancy, everything will come up through this narrative.
Um, yeah, ma'am. I want to know which exact part will say whether they are prepared for the future or not. You said that, right?
Once you move into the other side, if you feel reluctance from the very beginning, I'm not sure, I don't want to go, if that is coming up, that means they're not very sure of what they're doing right now. They are okay. Some people are very much okay with what they have right now, not a problem, of course. But if goals are missing in their life, that can create an issue. Okay, completely if it's missing, if they are unwilling to venture out, they are okay with wherever they are standing. One can be a state of stagnancy, frozen response due to a lot of stress, due to negative emotions, or it can be a sense of complacence. I don't want to do it, lethargy, procrastination patterns. These two can be options. Okay, either due to low mood or due to procrastination patterns. Once you venture out, what comes in the next part, like what is there on the other side, will give you a lot of insights as to what is important for you and what you're doing out there, whether you're able to finish the task, whether you're able to enjoy it there. A small case is means case study, which I've also heard. This is not my subject's case. I've heard that this particular technique, when it was used for a child who wants to go abroad for their studies, for her studies. So the parent had come for a drawing analysis to find out whether it would be suitable for her to send this child or not. So what came up here is she crossed the bridge very happily, and when she went to the other side, she was just happily enjoying herself, not actually doing anything concrete. Just going here, there, enjoying herself, meeting her friends, having a gala time, maybe shopping around as far as I remember. And then she came back happily after that. So this indicated that she had no concrete goals. How will the parents send her abroad?
Some
There
sort of
was no
escape system
seriousness.
or
There
procrastination.
was no seriousness. She would just wanted to go abroad to have a gala time, a good time. Okay, so this was the first indicator that there was no seriousness present in the child. And
So
her
this can
parents
be
had
used for
shared a lot of money for her, lakhs of, it rounded up to lakhs of rupees to send her. So they were pretty much conscious as to why they want, whether she'll make use of the course or not. So nothing came up as a concrete, achievement or a goal in her visualization.
So this can be used for career assessments
Yes,
or
yes, of course,
study assessments.
That's what Chandan ma'am was talking about, career assessments and everything. It can be used widely. I use this technique with all my students at school. This one and PPAT, the person plucking apple, because that gives you a brief idea as to the personality, and this will give you a brief idea as to how they are looking into their future.
Very much effective techniques for the students. I think to know
Yes.
their personality and go for the career base and for the uh, different classes techniques.
Anyone who wants to view their future, or anyone who wants to get an idea as to how am I viewing my life, can do this. Students, of course, you'll get a very nice idea as to what they're planning, but also for other people who want to try this out, can just this can be a very intuitive exercise. I'll send across a list of questions, brainstorming questions, where you can journal in and write down. You'll get more clarity on that and how to go about it further. It's almost like 2.5 hours, so let me quickly finish this. There is one more thing which you can do for anxiety management is your mindfulness technique. This is a very different mindfulness technique, which you'll know about, is about doodling and all those things, but this is a mindful sketch. Okay, this is called the mindful sketch technique. This takes approximately 10 to 15 minutes of time. This you can do it as an assignment also. This will increase the mindfulness and focus and make you be in the moment, which is very, very important for anxiety management. So for this, you'll be needing a drawing sheet or maybe a water painting sheet or a crayon sheet, whatever is available. You'll have to choose an object near you. Okay, so choose any object near you. It can be a plant, it can be a mug, it can be the TV, it can be anything which fancies you. You have to choose that object and sketch out its shape, the way you're seeing it. Like we did when we were younger, the still life. That is the same thing which we'll be doing as an art exercise for mindfulness. Okay, so you sketch out all the possible details, whatever you are seeing. Add as many details. You can add details also to it. You can transform it also. Okay, so this can be very, very in the moment activity, because since you're looking at a particular object in space and time, wherever you're sitting, this can be very connecting to the environment. This is also good for grounding. You can add colors, you can stick certain, those what do we say, those marble papers, you can tear them off and stick it on the object. Further mindfulness is created by that. You can color it with color pencils, crayons, watercolor as per your wish. And in order to understand, it's not only for anxiety, in order to understand your life events, you can use the timeline tool. So timeline tool is basically done on a graph paper. I generally do it on a graph paper, wherein I ask the clients to list down, maybe there's a 10-point scale. Okay, so it's like a graph. The y-axis is a 10-point scale, and the x-axis is the number of years spent on Earth. Say I'm looking at a 20-year-old. So you space out 20 years of life, and then you space out upwards the intensity, basically. Okay, so the y-axis is basically the intensity of events, and the x-axis is the number of years spent on Earth. After you do that, you ask the clients to number of years, like your own age. So you kind of divide the page as per the age. Okay, so what you do is ask the client to pinpoint certain events in their life, whatever they remember. It can be done on a brainstorming sheet, wherein they write down important events, good, bad, everything. Okay, so after they list down, you ask them to chart it out in the graph as per the age. Say at 10 years old, the person had got a very bad beating from the father. He remembers. Okay, so that point of time, the x-axis which you have kind of goes down, it dips down to a negative. So you have a 0 axis, and then plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It depends on you, how you want to gauge it. It can be a 5-point scale, it can be a 10-point scale, it can be anything as per your designated thing. So what the child does, it marks it as a minus, say, 4 or a minus 5. Okay, so it was that intense for him. For a different child, getting a beating maybe a minus 1 or maybe a minus 10 also. So depends. Okay, so after they chart out, say a positive event happened, he won a prize at 11 years old. So maybe a plus 10 for him. He is going to do that. The person is going to gauge as to how intense the incident was, the good incident and the bad incidents. After you graph it out, you'll get a zigzag line. You'll know exactly when the person had felt what and to what extent the person felt. So this will give you a quick, how do I put it, case history in a graphical form. And since it's visually very engaging, what happens, the person is also interested to share their life stories. This is an art form which we generally engage in to take down case history. If you want, I can give you a template for it. Maybe that will be much more clearer. Did you all understand how to gauge that? You can have your own point of scales. It's up to you. There's no hard and fast rule. But it is basically to gauge your entire life. You can do it for yourself. It gives you a lot of valuable insight as to when a particular problem started. You'll get an exact timeline as to when this particular problem started and why. And it gives a lot of engagement also with the client, because they're doing certain things physically on their own rather than you taking down the case history. That will give them an extra edge into the counseling session as well. There are a few more techniques which I'll be putting in the PDF, because we won't get time for today. I'll give you a date for a doubt clearance class. I'll give you a list of assignments which needs to be done. 10 needs to be done. Okay. If you want to do more, you're most welcome. But for the certificate, you need to at least submit 10 assignments. Assignments can be in PDF form, in JPEG form, in video form, but you need to upload it in your Drive. Okay, the Drive link form has been given to you. That is only one common Drive link which you will be using, and you'll just keep on uploading whatever assignments you are doing. Okay, and mid of June, what I'm planning is, since this is a learning procedure, what you can do is you can work on just one second. You can work on a PPT presentation, whatever learning you have been through all this while, you put it in a presentation. If you want to share another technique which you know with the rest of the class, it would be great. So what I'm trying to put is form it into a webinar kind of a thing where each one of you, whoever wants to volunteer, you can come and participate. Okay, you'll get a separate certificate for that. So whoever wants to, you can let me know. I'll send across a form link again. If you're interested for the symposium, if you're interested for the webinar, you put in your name and the topic which you want to present. But it should be art related, art therapy related. Okay, whichever topic. If you want to showcase your own, observations or your own assignments which you have worked on, your own experience, you can also do that. Right. So after the symposium and the internship, I've given you pairs. I'll be sharing the numbers. Specifically, I'll be sharing the numbers. You can talk to each other. If physically meeting is not possible, please do online meetings. You'll get approximately 1 month's time to submit all your assignments. It would be great if you can, apply the techniques on each other. Okay. And the case history format, it's a very brief format I'll give you. You can either do it on each other, or once you're going for a brief internship, it can be a one-day internship, it can be a workshop which you're taking in your local NGO, but there should be some kind of documentation of that. Either pictures or maybe a letter from the NGO, wherever you're doing the internship. It can be a one-to-one interaction, it can be one-to-many interaction also. So it depends on you.
Ma'am, just a doubt.
Things
So,
which
yeah. So, ma'am, the internship which we are going to do, so it is like as you explained, I am planning to do it one-to-one. So I have to apply all of the art therapy techniques on the person, on the single person.
not all. Whichever you feel, suits the need. Okay, that only you do it. Okay, assignment should be again 10. I'm just briefly going through it. Internship, approach any NGO, local organization. Those who have applied for hybrid mode, I'll be telling you the date, because since it's very hot in Calcutta, they have, turned down the timeline. But I'm trying to arrange it again sooner. So I'll let you know the exact dates. And for online students, you have to have your local organization or NGO who will allow you to go and maybe have an observation or one-on-one talk, or maybe you can conduct a brief art therapy workshop out there. So basic agenda would be to spread awareness as well about art-based therapies. So this would be comprising your internship. The presentation, again, it's optional. I've already talked about it. Details I'll be sending you in a PDF or a poster, and the form link will be given for participation. The case study, it will be through either partner implementation. You can do it on each other, or you can have it as part of your internship. Wherever you're going, you can have that as part of your case study. The case study template also, it's a very brief template. You can work on that, or you can have your own template as well, whichever suits you. Last date of submission, I've kept it 19 June, but since all of you are working, if you have certain issues, please let me know. I'll extend the date by another 10 days max. Okay. So this is what you need for your certificate: assignments, internship hours, case study file, and the presentation. Now, case study file can be uploaded along with the assignments, which will be a video, picture, or a PDF, whichever format you want to.
Ma'am, can you please re-explain the case study part alone?
Case study file will be doing the techniques on any other person other than yourself. Okay, so it can be one person whom you can choose. It can be your partner, or it can be the person whom you're meeting at the internship, or it can be someone else also. It's up to you whom you select. There will be a particular format. I'll be sharing it in the group on which you will be working on. Okay, and applying basic agenda would be to apply these techniques on people and see what all patterns are coming and how you're helping them. Okay.
Ma'am, excuse me, ma'am.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Ma'am, is it possible? Ma'am, Sunanda here.
Yes, ma'am. Tell me.
Ma'am, like I'm working at a rehab center as a volunteer currently. So
Mhm.
is it possible that it is under NGO only? So can I work there one-on-one?
Yes, absolutely. It can be any organization, but please make it a point that you have any kind of document. It can be a video, picture, it can be a letter, it can be anything. Okay, at least a document that you have done the internship.
Certificate would be fine for internship.
Yes, absolutely.
Ma'am,
Ma'am,
it has to be a institute only, or it can be
See,
some
it is
other place.
better
If I'm taking it,
internship. See, if it's from an institute or an organization, it is always better. But if not, you
okay.
can work under a psychologist as well. Maybe a psychologist can ask you to apply a few techniques on a particular client, so you can assist.
Okay.
Okay, that can also be done.
Okay. Any
ma'am,
other option? What can be done, like besides going to a
Internship, there's no
psychologist?
other option.
No
Internship
other
case
option.
study, you can do it on anyone you want to. Internship means it has to be an organization or under some supervision.
Okay, ma'am. All right. Thank you.
Ma'am,
ma'am,
Yes.
so
ma'am,
the organization that I'm working in currently, if I get their permission, so here we take one-on-one sessions, but we don't have any kind of supervision per se, but we do have pure psychologists. So if somebody has a better experience than me, can I do under them?
Yes, of course. Why not? And if you have any confusion, drop me a message. I will voice record and send it.
Oh, thank you, ma'am.
Maybe if I don't immediately reply, just re-text me because there are so many messages coming in. I might just skip it. So just send across. If you need some help, just send across a message.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
ma'am,
Hmm.
ma'am. As I am practicing on my own, like I am a clinical psychologist, so I have patients, and I've started some techniques on my patients. So, ma'am, all of the technique has to be done, or just one technique, only one?
Not all. Whichever you feel fit. Okay.
Fit.
Because
Yes,
we have
yes.
discussed a lot of techniques. I'll
Yes.
just list down whatever we have done. That will be easier.
So,
I'll list down and send it across. You can pick and choose. But for your assignments, at least 10 needs to be done. For
10
a case study,
Ma'am,
internship, just use your own, viewpoint and then do it.
ma'am, for one patient, I am using like certain techniques which you have taught us. That I'm doing for case study. But ma'am, for NGO thing, I find it little bit difficult to find it over here in Greater Noida. It's bit difficult to travel from here to Noida. So how can I, like, it's a bit confusing.
See, since you're already practicing, you can always do it on your subjects. But then if you have someone supervise you, it will be better. If you have any local supervisor or someone who can, guide you, I think that would be better.
Ma'am, I have to look at it, but it's really difficult over here to find. That is why, like,
Let me think over it. Let me think
Yes.
over people who
Can I
cannot
ask-
access NGOs. Let me just think over it and I'll get
Yeah,
back.
ma'am.
Please.
Yes.
Because
So,
without internship hours, there's no point, just learning about techniques. Because the more you apply, the more better you'll get at understanding.
like, ma'am, side by side, I'm applying like those who require some sort of techniques. Different techniques are being used from my side to every patient which they require. So that I am doing, and I'm getting the results also, and it's really amazing to see that. But for internship part, it's little bit challenging
Okay,
for
let
me.
me just think about it. I'll get back on that.
Sure.
Can I ask something on
Ma'am,
this
could you
line?
please,
Yes, quickly. I need to
ma'am,
go out somewhere now. Jaldi.
ma'am, could you please list out the assignments also, because
Yes,
they were
I will. I will do
So
that.
I was wondering
Thank
because I
you.
practice privately and I do have a page of my own where I do hold workshops regularly. If I did an art-based therapy workshop, would that count as an internship, or should I have do it along
Yes,
with
that will do. That
I
will
will
do.
do?
That will do.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Ma'am, one
Yes,
Dr. Ria,
yes, ma'am.
Anu, yes.
also
Finally, I'm
also
online.
work.
Okay. See,
Yes.
sorry, whom I'm interrupting. See, I travel a lot. Okay.
Yes, yes.
So I plan to do my internship through webinar in an NGO. Okay. Basically, because I being a career mentor, I plan to do this drawing analysis. Just going to give it a try, yeah. Because I usually do psychometric. So I plan to do with a group of graduates, but it's going to be a webinar. Okay, and though they will give me this one saying that I had done the session, but how will this be an internship for me? Because currently the country of I mean the traveling country for this month is going to be Qatar. Okay, and here we're not allowed to do that. It's the ministry rule. I cannot go on intern until I have a
Right.
proper PhD or something like that.
Okay.
It's illegal to do that. So would my idea of doing a webinar for the graduate student, I have an NGO. I mean, I know an NGO in Chennai. Okay. I'm going to apply this drawing analysis and the other techniques what we learned today as a webinar. So do you think that I can capture as a
Yes,
internship?
since this is a foundation course, I think we can have that liberation as to applying it. Basically, internship is also about trying and applying it. So, of course, that will be counted as Sarah was also talking about. That I feel those who cannot go on physical internships, however, I would highly recommend. But since if it is not possible at all, due to various reasons, you can always conduct an online webinar. Okay,
Okay, so I can.
Yes.
You need the webinar recording or a document from them?
Recording, maybe just a few snapshots and what you discussed would do.
Would do, and a letter or something from them saying that it was done.
Anything which will.
Perfect.
I don't need the recording, whole recording.
Yeah, okay. No, because my partner and me, I mean, I am giving the kid a hard time because this counselor keeps traveling a lot. Okay, so we had planned something like this. Even she is not able to go on because I had actually already messaged you privately.
Right.
Okay. Thank you. And it's lovely sessions. I know I've not been very active, but I keep doing it because my travel is blown out of proportion. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Okay, for the rest of you, since we are almost done with our timing, so what I can do is send you across the, the questions, whatever questions you have. Maybe you can list it down in that form link. I'll get back with whatever queries you have. Okay, I'll list it out and we have a doubt clearance class. Maybe if not possible next week, the following week, I'll have a doubt clearance class and then you can work on that. Right. So thanks a lot for all of you to join in. I thoroughly enjoyed all these classes. I hope you could learn something. And I'm really glad all of you joined in. Okay. So Yes.
Ma'am, I'm so sorry. I know you are late. I just wanted to ask a quick question. Can you give me just a couple of names of the therapies which can be used for couple therapy, like any kind of expressive art therapy?
Gestalt therapy is very good. More than art therapy, if you can do Gestalt therapy, empty chair technique and all. 2-chair technique, empty chair technique.
Art therapies, which techniques are used? Actually, this is part of my course in my MA, and they were giving an assignment. Those may I need that.
See, art therapy, you can use any of these techniques, but as a couple. You can maybe you can use the what's in my heart technique, the emotions, the predominant emotions for each of the partners. You can use color psychology also. Okay, what partner preferences are. And then you can ask them to draw portraits of each other. That it will be a good one.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much,
Portraits of your partner and then describe your partner. That can elicit a lot of conversations.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much, all of you. I'll be meeting you soon and updating you about all the rest of the details which we have, and all the materials will be uploaded. The recordings and materials will be uploaded very soon by this weekend. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye.